Hi, we're working on Mobius Math 3.1, Compare Linear Functions, and it can be found in PGCPS Math 8, Unit 2, Functions 2018 to 19. Okay, we're going to read this first one. 2 fish tanks are being filled with water. Below the equation and the graph represent the volume of water in 2 different fish tanks. Graph the equation on the coordinate grid. So what they're asking you to do is graph this equation. Here's the equation. Before we do that, this equation is in y-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. Let's see, we want to write plus b. All right, so the b is the y-intercept, and this is the b, the 9. That's where it intercepts the y-axis. So the first thing we're going to plot is the 9 on this axis, which would be 6. 6 plus 3 would be here in the middle. And then we would graph the next point by the m, which is the slope. And the slope is 3. All right. So we're going to rise 3. So at this point, 6, 3 is right on this line. And we're going to run 1. So the next dot will be here. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put a dot right here. No, not right there. I'm going to put a dot right here. Nope. Right here. Let me erase this in case this is causing a problem. Let's go ahead and erase all of it. Okay. I'm going to put a dot at 3. Okay, we put it at 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 6, 9, 12. It's here. And then we're going to rise 3, which is going up right to here, and run 1. All right. So we did that, number 1. Let's check it. That's correct. Complete the table for the equation in problem 1. Here's the equation. V is equal to 3t plus 9. So when t is 0, that means the volume was 9. That's the y-intercept. Now when it's 1, 3 times 1 plus 9 is 12. Well, you can look on here. When t is 1, it's at 12. When t is 2, it's at 15. When t is 3, it's at 18. T is 4, it is at 21. So 3 times 0 plus 9 is 9. 3 times 1 plus 9 is 12. 3 times 2 plus 9 is 15. I'm getting this from here. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 9 more is 18. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 9 more is 21. Complete the table for the original line on the grid. That's this line here. So here, 0, 0. When t is 1, volume is 3. When t is 2, volume is 6. When t is 3, volume is 9. When t is 4, volume is 12. But let's write an equation for this, okay? So it's not going to be a plus anything because it's both 0, 0. So I'm going to just put plus 0. But here, the rate, to go from 1 to 3, what do we multiply it by? We multiply it by 3. So 1 times 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is 12. So it's 3. That is the rate of change. Are the two fish tanks being filled at the same rate? Well, this rate of change is 3. This rate of change is 3. So, yes. At time 0, did both tanks have the same amount of water or different amounts of water? So here that is time 0. So at time 0, they had different amounts. This one had 9. This one had 0. Let's check all of our work. Okay, so this is compare linear functions, equations to graphs. So here's the equation, here's the graph. And then we got another equation here. Now we're going to compare tables to graph. So here's a table. This is one function, and here's another function. So first thing it says, two fish tanks are being filled with water. Below the table and the graph represent the volume of water in two different fish tanks. Graph a line for the table on the coordinate grid. So this is a different fish tank, so we're going to graph this one. So it starts at 0, 0, 2.5. This is 4. This is 2. I'm sorry, 0.52. 0.5, 2. All right, 1, 4. Okay, it goes on. Write an equation for the table in problem 1. So for this table, all right, at T is 0, the volume of water is 0. So we didn't start with any water in the tank. That's the y-intercept. But the rate, to go from 1 to 4, what do we multiply 1 by to get 4? We multiply by 4. That's the slope. That's the slope of this line. Write an equation for the original line on the grid. The original line starts at 6. So we're going to put where it starts here is 6. And the slope, let's find the slope of this line. This one to go from, this is 4, 6, there's 2 more to go to here and 1 to go here. So it's 2. So you go up 2 over 1. Here is 2. I can't write it. Here is 2. And here's 1. So 2 over 1 is 2. So look at these two rates. This is going at a rate of 4, and this is going at a rate of 2. They're different rates. And they started at different points also. Are the two fish tanks being filled at the same rate or a different rate? Different. At time t is equal to 0, did both tanks have the same amount of water or a different amount of water? So they started, t is 0, where they started, they had different amounts. If the two tanks are being filled at the same time, write an order pair to represent the point when the tanks have the same amount of water. So they have the same amount of water here where they meet. And that is at time 3 minutes, and they will have 12 gallons. So x was 3. This is the x-axis. And 12. Let's check our work. Correct. Page 3. Two fish tanks are being filled with water. The equation in the table represents the volume of water in two different fish tanks. Graph lines for both functions on the coordinate grid. So what they want us to do is graph a line for both of these functions. This function is represented as an equation. This one is represented as a table. So let's do this first one. Volume is equal to 2 times time plus 3. So it starts at the 3. That's the initial value. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 2. This is 3. Then we're going to rise 2, 1, 2, and we're going to run 1. For the second one, starts at 0, 0, And the rate is 2 times 3, 4 times 3, 6 times 3, 8 times 3. The rate is 3. So I'm going to write 3. 0, 2, 3, and run 1 here. I think that's right. Let's check it. That's right. Complete the table for the equation in problem 1. For this equation, it starts at 3, and then you take 2 times 1 plus 3 is 5. Looking at this equation. Now we're going to take 2 times 2 plus 3 because the time is 2 is 7. 2 times 3, 5 plus 3 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3 is 11. Write an equation for the original line on the grid. That's this line, the blue one. So it starts at 0, and the rate starts at 0. It goes, let me find somewhere where it meets. Right here, we're going to go up here to the 12. 0 goes up to 12. We're going to rise 12. We're going to run 4. So 12 over 4 is 3. All right, look at the rates. They are different, 2t and 3t. And the starting values of 0 and 3 are different. And if the two tanks are being filled at the same time, write an ordered pair to represent the point when the tanks have the same amount of water. So they have the same amount of water at this point here, which is at 3 and 3, 9. Let's check our work. I do have a mistake. This should be a 9. Let's write down. And that's the last one.